Today I'm talking about what I do as a type 1 diabetic to maintain my A1C under 5.7 without even trying. Now, before I totally jump into it, I do just want to start off and say the whole reason I'm doing this video is because of a kid named Alejandro that sent me a DM on Instagram. This is what he said. He said, "Hey, I want to reach out, man. I am 13 and also have T1D. I started at 10 and man, it's been a little hard to lower my blood sugar and A1Cs when I go to the doctor. And cool fact that we have the same Dexcom and insulin pen. And I appreciate your videos, man. Honestly, it's hard for me to share with other people that I have diabetes because I don't know how they would react, but I see that you do just fine without caring what other people say. And that is really cool, man. Hope you could share these tips on how we could all get better with our health. Thank you for making your videos." So that was really cool of him to send me that and to just say he appreciates the video. That's really the whole reason I'm doing this stuff is just because when I first got diagnosed with diabetes, I did not get the help or information that I needed from my doctors, and I just had to figure it out for myself. I'm going to keep this as simple as possible. Alejandro, I have one tip for you, just one thing that you can do that will dramatically improve your blood sugars. Before I give you that one tip, I need to explain to you two things. So let's jump into it. Basically, everything you need to know about managing your blood sugars well and managing diabetes in general comes down to two things. First is insulin, and the second is carbs, okay? If you dose your insulin correctly and you eat the right number of carbs, you'll just have no problems in managing your blood sugars. So first things first, let's dive into insulin just a little bit deeper. First glance, at least for me, when I got diabetes, I was told your pancreas isn't working, you're not making insulin, you inject it, all your problems are solved. You just have to take insulin to a place where your body doesn't make, and you're gonna feel just fine. And that's not true at all, because insulin dosing is extremely complicated and difficult. There's two big reasons why it's so complicated. First of all, let's talk about insulin sensitivity. Insulin sensitivity is the fact that how your body reacts to insulin changes all the time. So for example, if when I eat a banana, I need about 5 units of insulin to correctly digest that banana. But let's say I just got done working out. Instead of needing 5 units, I probably only need about 2, because after a workout, your body becomes more insulin sensitive. There are also things that make you go the opposite direction, where you become insulin resistant, and instead of needing the typical 5 units for banana, I might need 6 or 7 or 8. So this is a big deal, is that insulin sensitivity, how well your body reacts to insulin, is changing all the time. Second, insulin variance. Insulin variance, what does that mean? Variance is just a big word that basically means there's change. It's not constant. And what this is that all things equal, if today I have a meal where I needed 10 units of insulin, tomorrow I eat that exact same meal, my body will require as much as 13.4 units of insulin or as little as 7 units. And that's because there is actually a 34% variance. There's a 34% variance from one day to the next in how well your body will absorb insulin. So all that just to say that dosing insulin is not easy, it's very tricky, and that's why, Alejandro, you probably felt like, I've tried to do the same thing every time and it just never quite works out, and it's not your fault. It's just a very difficult thing to do to dose insulin correctly. Our bodies, there's a lot happening in our bodies and it's constantly changing. Now that's on the insulin side. Let's jump to carbs now. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you proof that I do always maintain a sub 5.7 A1C. So stick around if you want to see, why do I feel like I know what I'm talking about. What do carbs play into the equation, right? When you eat carbs, you need insulin. And we're told, again, from our doctor, you count the number of carbs that you're eating, you dose your insulin, and you're going to be fine, right? Now, if the insulin injections were perfect every time, which now we know that they're not due to, our varying levels of insulin sensitivity and the fact that there's insulin variance from one day to the next, well, what about the carbs that we're counting? When we look at the food label, is that always going to be exactly right? And unfortunately, it's not. What the FDA allows is for companies to have a 20% margin of error on their labels. So when you eat a big bowl of cereal and it says that there's 40 grams of carbohydrates in one bowl, let's just use round numbers. You eat a big bowl of cereal, so there's several servings in that bowl. Let's say that it's a total of 100 grams of carbohydrates based on the serving size. That bowl of cereal will actually have as little as 80 grams or as much as 120 grams of carbohydrates in there. So you don't know if you're over or underdosing your insulin depending on the number of carbs. And on top of that, you don't know how well you're going to be absorbing the insulin that you do take. So this creates a situation where every time you eat carbs, it's like a 50% chance you're actually going to get it right. So this is what brings me to my solution. There's a lot here that we can't control. We can't control the accuracy of of the nutrition labels on food products. We can't control how well we're going to absorb our insulin. We can't control our insulin sensitivity. So what am I going to do? This is going to make my life so hard as a diabetic. So let me focus on what I can control. I can control what I eat. And that's basically for me what I do to manage my diabetes with very little thought. This is it. This is my one rule, my one tip that completely changed my life, is that one time a day I eat my carbs. So for breakfast, lunch, I'll tend to go no carbs. Breakfast is going to be eggs, bacon, cheese, anything like that. Lunch is usually just some beef, salads, some vegetables. And then for dinner, I go ahead and eat my carbs. I have rice, I'll have pasta, I'll have cereal, I'll have fruit, whatever I want. I just like containing the number of times that I eat carbs to one time a day, because that only creates one spike, one time where I have to wonder if it's going to be right. And that's only one time a day that I'll have to take additional correction doses or, eat some additional sugar to treat a low. So it's so simple. It seems kind of silly and stupid, but let me show you the proof, right? Let me show you how well it's worked for me. So my Dexcom, so what I shoot for is an A1C of 5.7. Why do I shoot for that? Because in just a normal healthy person, if you had an A1C of 5.8, 5.9, anything over 5.7, you're into the pre-diabetes territory, where you're at the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So under 5.7 would just basically be considered perfectly healthy, right? Non-diabetic. That's a non-diabetic blood sugar. So as a type 1 diabetic, to have a non-diabetic blood sugar is really, really a great thing. 5.7 is the A1C. In blood sugar reading, that would be an average about 117. So here's my last 90 days. All right, so you can see my last 90-day reading there. I've had an average of 114, so just under that 117 mark I would need to have a 5.7 reading. And today, I can show you every single day what happens. I worked out really hard this morning. There's the last 3 hours. It's been really good. I just had some breakfast. And let's go to 24 hours. So you can see for the vast majority of the time, I'm well in the range, right? And that big spike last night was because that's when I had my dinner and my dosing wasn't perfect as it goes. It's hard to get it perfect every time. So I went up, corrected, and through the night was good. This morning I'm good. Right now I'm great, just sitting at 108. Alejandro, try that. Get your parents involved. You need to show them this video. They need to understand how important it is that you control your blood sugar, because in the simplest way, bad blood means bad health. So you really, really want to have healthy blood sugars. If you don't, you're just not going to feel your best. Alejandro, I really hope this helps. I know, like I said, this is very simple, but it's a small change that you can make that I think will dramatically improve your blood sugar and your health. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments. I'm planning on making some more videos just about little tips and things that I do that help me, the things that I eat, how I prep my insulin pens, all that kind of stuff. If there's anything else you'd like to see, or just any questions you have for me, put it down there below and I'll make a video just for you, man. I want to make sure that you and any other diabetics are as healthy as they can be. As always, it means a ton to me if you can like and subscribe on this channel. Lets me know I'm doing a good job and that I should keep making these videos. So I'll catch you on the next one.